Hello, you are welcome. I'm Dr. Nibutu Chrysolite. Welcome to my series on how the Quran came. How did the Muslims receive the Quran? This is part 1. It is titled, What Happened to the Books of Waraqa, the uncle of Khadija, Muhammad's first wife. What happened to the books written by Waraqa? This is part 1, and I want you to expect part 2. As I ask you humbly to subscribe to my channel, Dr. Nibutu Chrysolite. Subscribe to the channel. And you have a question, just go to the comment box and ask the question. And please like my videos. May God bless you. Share it to your groups, and God will bless you. How did the Quran come about, and what happened to the books of Waraqa? I'm reading from Sahih al-Bukhari 69 verse 62, 69 verse 82, 69 verse Sahih al-Bukhari 6982. You know, Sahih al-Bukhari is the most authentic book according to the Muslims after their Quran. Sahih al-Bukhari. The second is Sahih Muslim, Sahih Nasam, and so on. So I'm reading from Sahih al-Bukhari 6982. It's a very long verse, and as I read, I may jump some of them, I may read all, and so on, and I will explain as I go on. Sahih al-Bukhari 69 verse 62, 69 62, 69 82, not verse. Narrated Aisha, the commencement of the divine inspiration to Allah's messenger was in the form of a good, righteous, into brackets, true dreams in his sleep. He never had a dream, but that it came true like the bright daylight. He used to go in seclusion, into bracket, the cave of Hira, where he used to worship, into bracket, Allah alone, continuously for many, into bracket, days. He used to take with him the journey food for that stay, and then come back to his wife Khadija to take his food likewise again for another period to stay, till suddenly the truth descended upon him while he was in the cave Hira. So now the person telling the story here is Muhammad's best wife, little Aisha. Aisha was not there when this thing happened. He has been told, I believe, by Muhammad, that this is what happened to me. This is how I get the inspiration. I don't dream, and when I dream, it's an inspiration from Allah. And then I used to go into the cave, and then I speak to Allah, and in the cave, Allah started speaking to me. Then we continue. The angel came to him, the wife still speaking, Aisha. The angel came to him in it and asked him to read. The prophet replied, I do not know how to read. The prophet added, the angel caught me forcefully and pressed me so hard that I could not bear it anymore. He then released me and again asked me to read. And I replied, I do not know how to read. I do not know how to read. How do I read? Whereupon he caught me again and pressed me a second time till I could bear it no anymore. He then released me and asked me again to read. But again, I replied, I do not know how to read. Or what shall I read? Into brackets. Or what shall I read? You know something? If I continue to know that Muhammad was not an illiterate, go and watch my video, the falsehood. Muhammad was not an illiterate. Go and watch that video, and I prove from the books of Muslim Islam that Muhammad was not an illiterate. He could read and he could write. He could read and he could write. And there are many instances which I quoted in that video, even in their mosque, where Muhammad read. Muhammad had to sign. Muhammad had to prove that something that was saying, one of the documents was wrong after he has read. So go watch that video titled Falsehood. Muhammad was not an illiterate. So for Muhammad to tell the Jibril, or to tell the person or the being speaking to him that I don't know how to read, is most translated that what shall I read? Because the Jibril was not showing me anything to read, and he was saying he should read Akra. He said, Akra, what can I read? So in that video, I proved that Muhammad was illiterate, but he was just saying that you are not showing me anything to read, so what do you want me to read? So he continued. Aisha is saying the story. He said, so he caught me for the third time. That is, Muhammad is telling Aisha, that's that being who at this time he did not know who it was. You know, Aisha is saying the story after it has happened. But at the time Muhammad was being pressed, he couldn't tell who was doing that. But he realized it was a being. It was a spiritual being, or it was somebody who was pressing him. He could recognize the person, which means I think the person was not, the person came in the form of somebody he could recognize. Do you understand? The person was not spiritual, he was not dreaming. He said he went into the cave and the person came and squeezed him. He was not dreaming. Therefore, he called me for the third time and pressed me, and then released me again. And released me and said, read in the name of your Lord, who has created all that exists. He has created man from a cloth. Read, and your Lord is most generous. Up to that, which he knew not. Then when you look at Surah chapter 19 verse 15, it is there. Then Allah's messenger retained the inspiration. That verse is there. Read in the Lord's most gracious, it is there. That is Surah chapter 19 verse 15. Then Aisha continued. Then Allah's messenger retained the inspiration. His neck and muscles twitching, and terror till he entered upon Khadija and said, cover me, cover me. Listen, when that being beat Muhammad, he's giving me a slap, he gave me an uppercut and so on, and Muhammad had to run from that being that was beating me in the cave, and he was twitching. There was terror all over him. His muscles were twitching. He was actually dying. He ran to his wife Khadija and said, my wife Khadija, cover me with your cloth, cover me with your cloth. They covered him till his fear was over. And then he said, oh Khadija, what is wrong with me? Then he told her everything. As the moment told Khadija everything that has happened, and said, I fear that something may happen to me. Khadija said, never, wallahi tallahi, but have the glad tidings for by Allah, Allah will never disgrace you as you keep good reactions with your kids and kin. Speak the truth, help the poor and the destitute, serve your God, your guests generously, and assist the deserving calamity afflicted ones. Then listen very carefully. Khadija then accompanied, after Khadija has counseled his husband, held him in his arms and smooched him and told him that don't worry, my husband, my dear husband. You know, Khadija was about 25 years older than Muhammad. So Khadija was like a mother to Muhammad, even though Muhammad was the head of the house. Do you understand? Even though Muhammad was the husband. You see, Khadija was richer, was older, was everything, was more mature than Muhammad. So he had the husband, he said, my husband don't fear. My husband don't fear. Then he gave him his counsel. Then this happened. Khadija then accompanied him to her cousin. That is Waraqa bin Noftal bin Asad bin Abdul Huzza bin Kusai. Kusai. This is the name of Waraqa's cousin, Khadija's cousin. His name is Waraqa bin Nufal bin Asad bin Abdul Huzza bin Kusai. That is his name. It's like saying boy leche boy, boy leche, a big boy, boy leche boy, big boy, big afute galuga. You see, boy leche boy is my grandfather's name. Boy leche boy, big boy, or a big bouquet, the son bouquet, that is my father. A big afute, that is me, galuga. A gauga. You see, so Waraqa's name is Waraqa. When you say bin, it means son of. Waraqa bin Nuftal bin Asad. That is Waraqa's son of Nuftal bin Asad, the son of Asad bin Abdul. That is son of Abdul Uzza bin Kusai. So Kusai gave birth to Uzza. Uzza gave birth to Abdul. Abdul gave birth to Asad. Asad gave birth to Nuftal. Nuftal gave birth to Waraqa. So Rasu's name is actually Waraqa Nuftal because his father is called Nuftal, who is also the son of Asad, who is the son of Abdul, son of Uzza, son of Kusai. So Khadija took his dear husband Muhammad to see her cousin. And now let's listen to what happened. And I said the title of this video is what happened to the books of Waraqa, the cousin of Khadija, the wife of Muhammad. Waraqa was a son of a paternal uncle, that is a father's brother, who during the pre-Islamic period became a Christian. You know something, he was not a Christian. You see, he was a Nasara. Nasara are fake Christians. They are like false prophets, like belong to a false prophet's church, or like Jindos. They all call themselves Christians. You see, he was a Nasara. He was not a Christian. And he used to, and listen very carefully, this is what Waraqa was doing. He was a educated man. He used to write the Arabic writing, and used to write of the Gospels in Arabic as much as Allah wished him to write. Waraqa, what he was educated, and this is what Waraqa has been doing. He used to write the Arabic writings, and he used to write of the Gospels in Arabic. He was translating the Arabic in the Gospels, that is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and so on. He was writing them or translating them into the Arabic language. This is what Waraqa was doing. Listen very carefully. As much as Allah wished him to write. So who was inspiring Waraqa? It was Allah. Who was inspiring Waraqa to translate the Bible into Arabic? It was Allah. It was Allah who was helping him to do it. He was an old man and has lost his sight. He was an old man and has lost his sight. And what? Allah was helping him to write. Khadija said to him, "Oh, my cousin, this is the story of your nephew." Waraqa asked, so these books that Waraqa was writing, where are the books? He was translating the Gospels into Arabic. Where are those books? He was an old man and has lost his sight. Khadija said to him, "Oh, my cousin, listen to the story of your nephew." Waraqa asked. Then Waraqa asked, "Oh, my nephew, what have you seen?" The prophet, that is Muhammad, described whatever he has seen. Waraqa said, "This is the same Namus," into bracket Gabriel, the angel who keeps the secrets, whom Allah have sent to Moses. So Waraqa said the person who was picking or troubling or warning Muhammad is called Namus or Jibril or Gabriel, the angel who keeps the secret, whom Allah have sent to Moses. I wish I were young, and I would have lived up to the time when your people will turn you out. Allah's messenger asked, "Would they turn me out?" Now Waraqa was prophesying. He was telling him what he thinks will happen to Muhammad. The one said, "Would they turn me out?" Waraqa replied in the affirmative. He said, "Never did a man come with something similar to what you have brought, but was treated with hostility." There was something that Muhammad brought that was similar to what Muhammad Waraqa also had. If I should remain alive to the day when you will be turned out, then I will support you strongly. But after a few days, Waraqa died. Listen very carefully. After a few days, Waraqa died. And the divine inspiration was also paused for a while. And the divine Waraqa died, and the divine inspiration also paused. Where was that divine inspiration coming from? It was coming from Waraqa to Muhammad. Where was it coming from? It was coming from the books that Waraqa was writing, the translations of the Bible, of the Gospels. That is where Muhammad was getting inspirations from. What happened to the books of Waraqa? The divine inspiration was also paused for a while, and the prophet became so sad, as we have heard, that he himself intended several times to throw himself from the tops of high mountains. And every time he went up the top of the mountain in order to throw himself down, Jibril will appear before him and say, "Oh Muhammad, you are indeed Allah's messenger. In truth," whereupon his heart will become quiet and will come down and will return home. And whenever the period of the coming of the inspiration used to become long, he would do as before. But when he used to reach the top of the mountain, Jibril will appear before him and say to him what he has said before. Ibn Abbas said regarding the meaning of it, "Here it is that creates the daybreak from the darkness. Surah 9, 6 verse 26. That al-Ashba means the light of the sun during the day and the light of the moon at night. Sahih al-Bukhari 6982. So when Waraqa died, Sahih al-Bukhari says that the revelation that Muhammad was getting ceased. You know, when Muhammad went into the cave, the supposedly Jibril said he should read. And he said there was nothing to read. He came to Waraqa. They brought him to Waraqa, and Waraqa was writing, translating the Gospels into Arabic. And Waraqa was teaching Muhammad what Muhammad should do. And when Waraqa died, the inspiration Muhammad was receiving ceased. So, and according to historical facts, or according to historians, for 3 years Muhammad was not receiving revelation. So he decided to murder himself. He decided to commit suicide. So he goes into a mountain, and when he went to the mountain, he saw the angel that he saw the people that beat him, and he said, no. Remember what you have been told some years ago by your wife Khadija and the cousin Waraqa, that Allah have called you, has made you a prophet. He has made you a prophet. Someone will say that I've just quoted one Sahih. I want to quote another Sahih. This one is Sahih Muslim 160A. You know, I said Sahih Bukhari is the most authentic book according to the Muslims after the Quran, and then followed by Sahih Muslim. I will not read all because it's like a repetition of what I just read. So I just read some parts in the Sahih Muslim 168. Then the prophet returned therewith. His heart was trembling, and he went to Khadija, that's from the cave, and he said, wrap me up. So he wrapped him till the fear had left him. He then said to Khadija, oh Khadija, what has happened to me? And he informed her of the happening, saying, I fear for myself. She replied, it can't be happy. I swear by Allah that he shall never humiliate you. By Allah, you will join ties of relationship. You speak the truth. You bear people's burden. You bear the destitute. You entertain guests, and you help against the vicissitudes which affects people. Khadija then took him to Waraqa. Waraqa bin Nuftal bin Asad bin Abdul al-Huzza, and he was the son of Khadija's uncle, that is the brother of her father. And he was the man, listen very carefully, and he was the man who had embraced Christianity, and I say it is Nasara, in the days of ignorance, that is before Islam, into brackets, and he used to write in books in Arabic. The first one said gospel. This one says this Waraqa used to write books in Arabic, and therefore wrote the Injil in Arabic. Injil is the gospel. So he wrote the Injil in Arabic as God will that he should write. He was a very old and had become blind. Khadija said to him, so the person who was writing the Injil into Arabic, Sahih Muslim also says that his name is called Waraqa. And Khadija said to him, oh uncle, listen to the son of your brother. Waraqa bin Naftal said, oh my nephew, what did you see? The messenger of Allah then informed him what he has seen. And Waraqa said to him, it is Namus that God sent to Moses. Namus, who is also, they also call his name Jibril. Would that I will then during your prophetic career, a young man will that I might be alive when your people will expel you, and so on and so forth. So 2 books of the Islam, 2 main books after their Quran is saying that there was a certain man called Waraqa that who wrote books, and he wrote the books in Arabic, and that is where Muhammad was receiving inspiration from. The man was like his godfather. So the books, Islamic book says that when this Waraqa died, the inspiration ceased, because Waraqa was, as he was writing this, in Muhammad was not a Christian. Was not a Christian. It was Khadija who was a Catholic, the wife who was a Catholic. And in another video I'll tell you the connection between the Catholic religion, carry tradition in the formation of Islam. I'll make a video. So this Khadija took Waraqa not to a Catholic but to a Nasara, and this Nasara man was translating the Gospels into Arabic. But remember, they say he was blind, which means that he was not even seeing what he was translating well. Who have the books of Waraqa? Who was so close to Waraqa? Who was a cousin of Khadija? Was it not Waraqa? So who have the books, or who inherited the books of Waraqa? I want you to know, as we continue, you will realize, according to my sources and according to what I have studied, the books of Waraqa was what was stained into the Quran. The books of Waraqa, as we understand, this is part 1. As we go on, the books of Waraqa was the books that was stained into the Quran. That is where the inspiration starts from. May God bless you. I'm Dr. Project Chrysolite. I want you to subscribe to my channel. I want you to share this to your friends. I want you to like, and if you have any question, just write the question down. May God bless you. See you in the part 2. May God bless you. And please, I have many videos on my channel. I have more than 50 videos on my channel. Just go and watch the videos. May God bless you. See you in part 2. Bye bye.